Get you more then on the release on parole today of Janusz Waluś, the man who assassinated Chris Hani, the SACP leader in the early 90s, just as South Africa was preparing for the democratic elections in 1994. Let's go live to our reporter, Govan Whittles. And Govan, you are at the site where Chris Hani's remains lie today.
That's right, Tembekile. You know, when the ANC, the SACP and COSATU marched to the Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Center last week, just the day after Janusz Waluś was stabbed, they had said that Chris Hani's legacy was under attack. And they didn't only mean the decision of the Constitutional Court to order the release of Janusz Waluś, Chris Hani's killer, on parole. They were also talking about the vandalism of the Chris Hani Walk of Remembrance. And that's where we're joining you live from this afternoon, the Thomas Nkobi Memorial Park in Boksburg. This memorial park being built by the Ekurhuleni government, and this site that was dedicated to Chris Hani being vandalized just in the wake of news of Janusz Waluś's parole reaching the public. So let's show you what they've done. The Ekurhuleni government has actually prepared or repaired this site. The steps that you're seeing right now were ripped out. That's exactly what was vandalized. You'll see the picture of Chris Hani in frame here, but they haven't managed to repair all of it just yet. Some of the ceramic tiles that have decorated this site still out of place, but for the most part they've repaired the vandalism. And this is also where the ANC and the SACP are debating whether to station a platoon of Umkhonto weSizwe military veterans to essentially guard this walk of remembrance, which is dedicated to Chris Hani. They haven't made a decision about that yet, but this is just one of the ways that they hope to defend the legacy of Chris Hani, which they say is under attack. And they, of course, have reacted with disappointment to the decision of the Constitutional Court that's been enforced now by the Justice Minister. And we spoke to the Young Communist League just a short while ago about that decision. Now they're pinning their hopes on an inquest, the inquest that they're calling for into the assassination of Chris Hani. And let's take a look at what the Young Communist League secretary had to say about that inquest.
Once we call for the inquest, and we believe that ultimately it shall be granted. You'll recall that when we called for the inquest on Comrade Ahmed Timol, we wanted to find justice and the truth. And ultimately, the inquest assisted us because we ultimately knew what happened to Comrade Timol. And we believe that if then we can follow that route, ultimately something will come on, and then the family will be able to find a bit of justice. Because the problem is that the man is unrepentant and has never shown remorse. Because firstly, what he committed was an I-class decision. That's why even when at a particular time they were engaging at the parole board, he openly said, no, look, I may regret to have killed Chris Hani, but I don't regret to have killed a communist.
That's Tiniko Ntini. He's the secretary of the Young Communist League, speaking to Newzroom Afrika on the sidelines of the Young Communist League's conference taking place in Boksburg. We're joining you now from the Thomas Nkobi Memorial Garden, which is here in Boksburg. It's where the Chris Hani Walk of Remembrance is stationed. And it's clear that reaction from the Communist Party, from the ANC, from the Alliance in general will continue coming in. They seem to have accepted the decision of the Justice Minister to release Chris Hani's killer on parole. That decision being made without any reference to the SACP's rescission application to the Constitutional Court. And tomorrow, the SACP's General Secretary, Solly Mapaila, due to address that Young Communist League event in Boksburg. But we'll leave you with these pictures of Chris Hani's grave here at the Thomas Nkobi Memorial Garden in Boksburg. This is the site where a number of events are held by the Alliance. And this evening, the national chairperson of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe, also due to speak about the state of the Alliance. This issue, the release of Janusz Waluś, likely to feature prominently in the relations between the different alliance partners. It certainly is a point of disagreement, and we've got comment from the ANC Youth League in Gauteng already saying that they would have expected better from the ANC leaders nationally when it comes to this divisive issue. Tembi, it's back to you.
Govan, thank you very much for that.